Yo, what is up, everyone, and welcome back to the Real Ones Canes podcast. I'm the Beast, Brian London, alongside Brandon O'Doy. Follow us on all of the socials at Miami Radio Beast. For me, at Brandon_O'Doy for Brandon, and follow the whole crew at Real Ones Canes. Also, subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Google. It's there wherever you go. And subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. We're taking off there as well. Brandon, it is a bye week. The hustle and bustle of trying to watch player interviews and coach press conferences and all that stuff. We don't have that. We have a little time to reflect on a 4-0 Miami Hurricanes team. And there's some injuries, so let's get to that. The bye week comes at the right time for Miami.
Yeah, a bye week is definitely when you want to try to heal up and get back to square one for some health perspectives, and couldn't come at a better time for the Hurricanes, who are still trying to get back to square one with injuries. Notably, we want to get Cam Kitchens back on defense and also Akeem Mesidor. Those two very important pieces will be needed as this team goes into ACC play.
I'm thinking about the defense and the amount of guys that are hurt there, and we don't know who's going to be back for Georgia Tech next week or not. I'm thinking about, you talked about Cam Kitchens. Obviously, he's the captain, El Capitan. And I'm thinking about offense. I think Matt Lee left the last game a little bit nicked up. And even though Mario kind of downplayed injuries, unfortunately, we can't ever buy into what the coaching staff says about injuries, because they famously say we don't talk about injuries. So there's no way to really know, right, who's going to be lining up for the Miami Hurricanes when they take on Georgia Tech. I just hope that some guys get back and we can start to get a little bit healthier and have a more full complement of this team, because there are some positions that just don't have a lot of depth.
Yeah, and center is one of those. I mean, you hope that Matt Lee is, as Mario Cristobal says, okay, because we're going to need him to be okay next week against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech did something I didn't like. They snuck a win in against Wake Forest. So now it's like, okay, Wake Forest has been trending up as an ACC Atlantic program, even though there aren't any divisions anymore. At the end of the day, you know, that's a pretty good team. And here's a Georgia Tech team that's been reeling, you know, let a big lead go against Louisville. And, you know, this isn't a game that you can fool around with, and it's definitely trappish, you know, on the road against UNC awaits. So you definitely want to get to 5-0, which everybody had projected at least 4-1, 5-0. That was the early season outlook. You want a clean slate going into next week. So you definitely don't want to try to figure out how to replace a guy who's been an absolute staple in your offense and kind of, you know, a revamped, very much improved offensive line.
Now, luckily, the game is not at noon. I think it's a nighttime game, actually, against Georgia Tech. This had the markings, the makings of a sleepy nooner for the Miami Hurricanes, which they play a couple of those a year. It's a noon game. It's early for them. They come out. They're a little bit sleepy. It goes a lot deeper into the game than you would like. But I think because it's a primetime game, Miami seems to get jacked up for those type of games. I don't think we have to worry about them overlooking Georgia Tech onto Chapel Hill, but one never knows about the mentality of a team as they go out and play.
The only way this game could get complicated based on what we've seen in 4 games is if somebody key gets injured, namely a quarterback. I think you have enough depth at running back and receiver to get through the game, you know, even with a major injury to a guy. I don't want to see Xavier Restrepo go down. That would complicate things because he's kind of the go-to third down conversion type of wide receiver. But yeah, an injury to Matt Lee that keeps him out of this game. Someone like a Tyler Van Dyke, you know, knock on all the wood you got. You know, outside of that, Miami can probably withstand an injury here and there. But yeah, no, that's the only thing that I can think can complicate this game. It's a late kick, which means in Miami language, people have more time to get to the game. There aren't as many things going on. There's still no heat. Dolphins don't play until the Sunday. People are excited about this team. Those things usually translate beast into attendance. So, the spirits will be high, literally and figuratively, at night. So it should be a decent enough push to give Miami a comfortable home win against, sort of a trudging team in Georgia Tech. And I think I made that word up.
Yeah, whether you did or you didn't, it's an amazing word, and I think the web people at Webster should add it to the dictionary. I've had a few moments to just look around the landscape of college football, see what other people are saying around the nation, and Tyler Van Dyke and this Miami Hurricanes offense is getting a lot of praise. There's a lot of talk about what Shannon Dawson has brought to the table. Granted, anything is better than what they had with the coordinator last year. Hashtag See Maryland. But
yeah, they're doing well, by the way. I had to look that up, man. They're actually doing well. Like the offense.
Yeah, they've gotten better.
Well,
yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they've gotten better. But so I wanted to go dig into some of the stats myself, just to see is the hype worth it, right? Is things being blown out of proportion? Is it people not watching the games and just kind of going on the highlights? I don't know. So I wanted to reel off a couple of stats and then get your thoughts on some things. So Tyler Van Dyke, 4th in the nation in passing efficiency. The only guys he's behind, Caleb Williams, Michael Penix, and Sam Hartman, right? He's 8th in passing touchdowns, 9th in yards per pass attempt, 12th in points responsible for. That's total as any position on offense. So I think he's only thrown one interception, which was not a good one, but only one. And as a team, though, they have the 8th best scoring offense in the country, 7th best completion percentage, 11th best rushing offense. They've only given up 4 sacks all season. They're the 11th best in tackles for loss allowed, which is another stat that shows your offensive line is doing a good job, right? And, Tyler's doing great. The only other guy that surprisingly really shows out when it comes to the national statting categories is Henry Parrish, 2nd in the nation in rushing yards per carry at 7.88. But I look at this offense, and statistically speaking, they're doing really well. Now, listen, they've only played 4 games, right? 2 of those,
one real game.
Right, in one real game. I would say 2 games against much inferior opponents. 1 against a team that's inferior, but not to the level of Bethune or Temple. So they played 1 real game. So take it all with a grain of salt. But you can't ask for more from this offense, given the schedule that they've played.
You ask for what you get, and you get what you ask for. We asked for 4-0, a win, trade a home win with Texas A&M. It was a close game last year. You're much improved. It wasn't a close game this year. You come back, you add some guys in the portal. You got some really talented freshmen. You're 4-0, and everything looks really good. Now, I ain't ready to hand over the Heisman Trophy to Tyler Van Dyke.
No.
I still think that he's doing – listen, for a guy that received, like, some first-round mentions, like, this is fair. This is, required, so to speak, from a guy that had expectations and who didn't, frankly, live up to him last year. Now, the offense is getting a lot of the blame for that, but – he's got to make better plays. I mean, it was a pro-style offense that he played in. So, one of the things he's going to be asked to do is to show that last year was a fluke. He's showing that right now, but we need to see good teams win on the road, and that's what we need to see. But first, you got to take care of business. I love all the stats. The stats are great. Being mentioned with those names is a positive sign. That really is. And that's the thing I said. I don't know if you remember in some of our earlier shows. You've got to have guys competing for national awards in order to be a good football team.
Right.
So if Tyler Van Dyke is being mentioned for, some of the, really top awards, the Davy O'Briens, the Heisman Trophy, if Henry Parrish somehow gets into the conversation, that's what you want. You want guys who are mentioned, because now that means you're playing at a high level, you're producing, and you've got playmakers.
earlier in the season, it was probably episode 1 or episode 2, you made the bold statement that Tyler Van Dyke was a system quarterback.
And I repeat that as often as possible because he is.
So you stand by it.
He just happened. Yeah, I'm not going to walk back. Tyler kind of gave me a look in the post-game presser the other day.
Oh.
I was wondering, I was like, I wonder if he listens to the real ones.
He might.
He kind of gave me a look, and I was like, okay, getting a little, maybe it was just a game he had. I don't know. Like, it was after the Texas A&M game, by the way, and it was a sort of a take that, how you like that? What did Kirk, was it Cousins? You like that? I kind of got a you like that from Tyler. Hey, Tyler, if you listen to this, I'm doing my job. You do yours. We'll all be good. At the end of the day, I like winning football, and I don't like when a guy is hyped up. Oh, he almost went to Bama. I'm like, who are we talking about here? But, okay, if you come out and you go 5-0, you go to UNC and win, hey, I'll eat my crow. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem saying I'm wrong. I don't have a problem with that at all. Because he stunk up the joint last year.
Is it possible he just did? Is it possible he just didn't fit into Josh Gaddis' system, that he didn't mesh with Josh Gaddis' coaching, and he was injured, last year? Come on,
you're 1,000% correct. And let me say this on the record: we're not talking about when we know he was injured. We're talking about when he was healthy to start the season. He was playing like absolute hot garbage, and that's what we can judge him on. But obviously, a lot of people listen, Bama probably should have taken him. They'd be a lot further along. Maybe they would have beat Texas. Because the way he's playing now, he's got a line. He has time to throw. He's got weapons. He's got a run game. These are the things that make quarterbacks look a lot better.
Am I wrong in wanting to give the offense an A across the board?
Listen, you'd be wrong to not give them an A. What have they done to deserve anything less? They're putting up 40-plus points a game. They're balling out of control. They're doing what they need to do. The defense is as well. The only problem I have with the defense is we're not creating enough turnovers.
Yeah. No, so I looked at all the defensive stats, too. Because, first I looked at all the individual stats, and I'm like, wait, there's no one really from the Miami defense that's up there in individual stats other than Corey Couch is one of 16 players that has 3 interceptions on the year.
Yeah, Corey Couch is like leading the nation in. You know why that is, and I said this on another podcast.
Yeah, because they're throwing in his direction.
They're throwing at him because they think he's the weakness. But right. I want to give on our own podcast the same scenario and the same accolades. Corey Couch has been developed by Jamil Adai. There's no other way to say it. This guy was a major liability. Okay, he stayed in the program. He's a 5th-year guy. He's a home guy. Chaminade Madonna, Hollywood. I'm broadcasting now from Hollywood. He grew up not too far from here. His aunt is a member of our church. At the end of the day, this is a kid who played mostly wide receiver throughout his entire career. When he got to Chaminade Madonna in his 10th grade year, that's when he converted to defensive back. He had a lot to learn at this position. And so he's been learning it. He had a really good flashy year. I think it was his sophomore year. But outside of that year and this year, he's looked terrible. Now, offenses are keying on him, and he's making plays. And that's what you want. And here's the beautiful thing, Beast. Corey Couch is probably the biggest liability on our defense. So he's balling out of control right now. So with James Williams and you get a healthy Cam Kitchens to match the Porter and Jaden Davis, the games that they're having, the seasons that they're having so far, and Ruben Bain looks like a super stud recruit. He's leading the nation as a freshman. There's nothing not to like on this defense.
But you did mention it. This is more of a team defense than it is a bunch of individuals getting the accolades. They really are playing as a team defense. And I think that kind of comes from the coaching staff that they have on defense and the way Lance Guidry wants to see them play defense. I mean, they do have one of the best scoring defenses in the country, which means they don't give up a lot of points. And here's a stat, which I think is like, I'd never seen this before, but I think it does say a lot about the defense, which is they're 7th in the nation in giving up first downs, which means there's only 6 teams better than them allowing less first downs by the opponent. That's really good. That means it's a lot of 3 and outs that they're causing.
Yeah, a lot of 3 and outs, a lot of frustrating things are happening for offenses facing this Miami Hurricanes defense. And at the end of the day, the only knock I can say is turnover, not creating enough of them. But you turn the ball over when you have to punt. So that's a big deal. At the end of the day, Lance Guidry, the design on this offense, the aggressiveness of it, design on this defense, the aggressiveness of it. But I just think the best is yet to come, Beast. Like, I just don't think we've seen what these guys are truly capable of. And I'm excited to see it, like, fully on display.
What makes you say that, Brandon? What do you know about?
We haven't had Kitchens. We haven't had a full complement of Kitchens. I don't remember when he went down in the Texas A&M game, like whether it was the first or the second half. I just feel like James has sort of been bubbling. He's sort of a big game player. He gets up for stuff like that. Guys are still developing.
And the guy that I had my eyes on as a new guy to this defense that I thought was going to explode was Branson Dean, and he was hurt. Mesidor was hurt.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you got Dean and Mesidor, who everybody was counting on, have spent more time on the bench this year, and you're still in all these statistical categories, leading and having some positive things happen. I mean, somebody is going to take it personal that, Takori Couch is leading the country almost in picks and say, hey, man, it's time for me to get in on the action. And it just, because good play inspires good play by others. And at the end of the day, I just don't think they put it all together yet, which is a great thing to be able to say at 4-0.
I was thinking about this. I give the defense a B+.
Okay, so what are your room? What's the room for improvement as you see?
I think it comes down to turnovers, forcing turnovers, and also sacks.
Yeah, they're not getting home, but there's a lot of pressure on that quarterback.
Oh, a ton of pressure.
Just a lot of rush throws. You saw it against Texas A&M. That guy was dancing bear back there. He was always moving because they're bringing the pressure from so many different places. It's creative. It's over here on one side. It's over here on the other side. Nobody's really getting home, as much as you'd like. But at the end of the day, it's getting the job done.
Here's another grade I want to throw out there. Coaching, so far, I think I have to give it an A.
Are we talking head coaching or overall?
Just if we just say coaching, head coaching, coordinators, assistants, especially when compared to what we were dealing with last year, I think the turnaround has been so great that, and maybe that's blinding me. Maybe the turnaround has been so great that whereas
you're gonna be a prisoner of the moment, but
I mean, that's possible. I saw so many things last year that I just wanted to put my head through a wall. And this year I'm not seeing the same thing. That maybe that's why I go, hey, the coaching's great. Maybe you see it differently.
The coaching is definitely B+. There's been some in-game head-scratching moves. I'd like to see more depth developed. From a standpoint of the defensive ends. Kind of moving guys all in and out. What's really happening? I'm not sure about this Ja'Cory Brown move. Like, what's really going on with him not playing and picking up time? And I'm gonna expound upon that by saying, okay, he doesn't play this year for pursuing a red shirt. Tyler Van Dyke goes pro.
Mm-hmm.
What stops him from leaving?
Nothing.
And going, and we never get a chance. But now, I know he's not a crystal ball recruit, but here's the deal. You got to figure out what you got in this guy. This guy won a game last year as a true freshman in a bad offense.
You said it last show. People can go download that, which is you don't want to see one of your guys go win a Heisman Trophy on a different team.
That's all bad. I mean, I get the whole Emory Williams thing. I mean, Emory Williams is almost not able to redshirt now. I don't know what the plan is. I'm not saying the plan is bad. I just don't know what it is. Because, I mean, let's count it up. Emory Williams played against Miami of Ohio, right?
Yeah, I think he's.
He didn't play against Texas A&M. He played against Bethune, and he played against.
Yeah, he's got 3 games. He can only play in 1 more.
He's got 1 more game.
Right, but the problem is this is what you're dealing with when you have the portal. Is you have if you're gonna take that chance on redshirting a guy, then you're gonna have to risk him bolting. Because he's not happy with.
That's hearsay because we've never had anyone.
No, but that goes for any position. It's not just quarterback. It goes for an entire roster because now there's no penalty for these guys to go bolt to another team for what they deem to be a better situation.
I want to know what I got. I ain't gonna leave a package from Amazon sitting on my couch. I'm trying to open that thing up. Even when that thing is, and I know this is wrong, and let me confess. Even when it doesn't say my name, I'm so curious as to see what's in the box. We can always I didn't pay attention. I was just opening it so fast I didn't realize. No, I realized. I knew it wasn't mine. I just wanted to see what was inside. I got to know.
I would be really surprised if we don't see Jakari play in the next 2 games, 3 games. I'd be really surprised.
The good thing is we haven't created a quarterback controversy because Emory's looked like a freshman. There's potential there, but
you know what? There was though going into game 1, there was a lot of chatter in that press box. Oh, Emory's so far ahead of Jakari, and Emory's QB2. There's no doubt about it. And I think some of that has come back to earth a little bit, but that chatter was there from the off-season hype.
Right.
All right, man. They're 4-0. They're going to play Georgia Tech next week, bye week this week. Any final thoughts as this team goes into the second third of the season?
Take care of business, get to 5-0, stay healthy.
Yeah, I can't say it any better than that. The Beast Brian London, Brandon O'Doy. Follow us on all the socials. Follow us on X at Real Ones Canes. Download the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We will check you next week, Canes fans. We'll see you when you see you. Peace.